what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video, and today I'm gonna be talking about the Genie, the character, the Genie, and the what if scenario. Everyone's been talking about this, and for anyone who doesn't know, Robin Williams is one of my or if not my favorite actor. Is my favorite actor, actually, of all time. And I have a special place for Robin Williams. He's, Jumanji, obviously Aladdin, Hook, he's just a phenomenal actor, and he has a special place for me. And I was such upset. If you guys did not watch my video from a few years ago, I was very, very upset when I found out, he had died. It was very upsetting for me to come to terms with that, that he was not with us anymore. And with the recent of, a couple of years ago, you had the sequel, I guess, technically, of Jumanji, and then you had now this film, the new live action Aladdin film, which I just want to say, overall, it was an okay movie. I did see the live action Aladdin movie. It was an okay movie. I don't think it will be one of the top 10 or even top 15 movies for 2019, but I don't think it was a bad film. But there's always going to be that question that a lot of people are asking, if in a scenario, if Robin Williams had been alive today, would he have been the Genie? And not Will Smith and anyone else. Well, for one thing, I can tell you right now, if Robin Williams would have been alive, I don't think Will Smith would have been the Genie, because I don't think Will Smith would have taken the role. Will Smith has said in newer interviews that he was terrified of playing the Genie because of how good Robin Williams was in that film, which he was. He was amazing. I've said the story before, but Robin Williams, like Genie, was very synonymous to me, because that film literally was the most recognizable voice out of any voice when I was a little kid. My mom took me to a movie named Flubber, the Flubber movie, which Robin Williams starred in. And within the first couple of seconds after, she convinced me to see this movie, because I didn't want to watch live action, I didn't watch live action stuff at the time. Within the 30 seconds of hearing Robin Williams, I didn't even know who he was at that time. I was just a little kid. I was like, that's the Genie. That's how synonymous that guy was to me. I just knew that was the Genie. So that's how significant he was as the Genie. He was probably the most recognizable character. And the Genie character, was written for Robin Williams. Before Robin Williams was even the Genie, even before he was the voice actor for the Genie, he was, the role, the script, the way they wrote the script, the way they wrote the animation of the Genie, it was written for Robin Williams. It was written for his personality, and it was just a bonus that they were able to get him as the voice. They've talked about this. So, we're never going to truly know if Disney would have casted him still or asked him to do it. We'll never truly know. But based on watching the live action film, I do believe Disney would have casted him. The way they had Easter eggs in there, Robin Williams, Will Smith did a lot of Easter eggs in that film that kind of synonymized Robin Williams' some of phrases that he would say. Now I know a lot of people were criticizing Will Smith for doing this, but he was doing that as an homage to Robin Williams. And also you got to understand, again, the Genie's personality was written for Robin Williams. It wasn't written for Will Smith. It wasn't written for anybody else. It was written for Robin Williams. The character's personality of the Genie, the way the Genie was, made, he was made for Robin Williams. That's what people that's what some people, critics, don't seem to understand, is it was written for him. So if Robin Williams would have been alive, there would have been no one else that should have played that part other than Robin Williams. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking that the Genie is supposed to be... Because I've read some things where some people think the Genie is supposed to be an African-American. I don't believe he is an African-American or white. I don't believe he's an African-American. I don't believe he's white. I believe the Genie can be anybody because he's a Genie. And also, if you watch the movie, if you watch the original movie, the original cartoon movie, the Genie never shows his human form. He's always blue in the film. He's always blue. I mean, there's a couple of the transformations, when he transforms into the kids and stuff like to disguise himself. But he never once in the film, when he's freed, like when Aladdin uses the wish, he uses the wish to free the Genie. The Genie is still blue. He's still blue. He's never revealed to what his skin is. To skin, which I don't even think that's really an issue. Like I said, diversity is always a good thing. But I don't like the whole idea where people are like, oh, the Genie was supposed to be an African American, or he was supposed to be, this because they're from the Middle East. Because a lot of people are talking about this, for example, how they casted that white prince in the movie. A lot of people were complaining about that. I don't think you really can complain about the way the Genie was approached, because really the Genie can be any, person, really, because he's blue, at least in the cartoon series. Now, of course, in the live-action remake, they kind of tweaked that a little bit. But if Robin Williams had been alive, I do believe in the scenario, it would have been fine. Now, the question really would be is how you approach it. How do you approach it? Would you do it the same way with Will Smith, where Will Smith is transforming into a human form, he's transforming into the Genie, he goes back and forth. I don't know if they would have done that with Robin Williams. They probably could have. Personally, I don't think it would have been an issue. Like I said, I don't think it really would have been an issue, because I don't think anyone would have complained about Robin Williams being the Genie, since, he really made that part to begin with, and the part was written for him to begin with. Personally, the way I think they should have done it in both scenarios, whether you're using Will Smith or Robin Williams, the way I think they should have approached it was the way they did it in the movie, the original movie, and that was, just have a CGI version of the Genie, not necessarily have him look like, his face, because that's what they do. They have Will Smith's face as the Genie, and then they got this bulk-up blue thing. That's basically what they did. Now, to me, I don't think you really needed to have done that. I think you could have just had a CGI version of the Genie of what he looked like in the original animated series, and I think that would have looked a lot better. But then, of course, that probably would have eliminated doing the human form of the Genie, because you really, I don't think, could do that if you approached it that way. Another thing with the Genie is, how would you approach this character if Robin Williams would be doing it? Because, of course, as we all know, there was a new character that was introduced called Dahlia, who was basically an assistant to Princess Jasmine. Now, what was really interesting about Dahlia is, though she is, I guess, she is like one of, foreign. I don't remember what the country was, but she's from a different country. Um, she is kind of more white, so it would be it kind of would match much better with Robin Williams, anyways. But like I said, not trying to take the offense of it, because Will Smith killed it as with what he had to work with. Because I like Will Smith. I loved him in the Men in Black, but I'm trying to figure out how to approach it better in the way they did the movie, which is kind of hard because, again, it's CGI and all that stuff. It's just hard to tell. And then, you got all this political stuff going in there. Oh, this is whitewashing and all that stuff, which I don't really get into that stuff. I don't really care about that stuff. I really care about the actors, putting on the best performances. But looking at this film, because it seems like it gets a lot of backlash because, they casted a white prince or whatever in the thing, which, I mean, honestly, I don't think it was really that bad. I mean, he was like, what, in 3 scenes? He was in 3 scenes. Like, and people were complaining that he was white. The dude, the prince guy, I don't know how to say his name, which is kind of bad. It's a new character. They replaced the old prince character in the film, but I don't see that as a bad thing, because he was kind of irrelevant. He was like, whatever. I mean, they casted Aladdin right. They casted Jasmine, Jafar. Like, I felt Jasmine was the best, like, out of all of them, I think, in terms of the performances. Like, she was probably the better of them all. But I thought they were all casted very well. But I don't know where this idea comes from that, the genie had to be an African American, because I never looked at it that way. I never looked at the genie being an African American or being white. I just looked at him, as the genie. He was blue. That's what I looked at it as. Not trying to be offensive to anyone. I'm just saying. I just looked at the genie as being blue, because that's what he was in the film. He was blue. He was blue in the original cartoon series. He wasn't. They never had any real, transformation type stuff for him. But I like, the fact that Will Smith really tried to pay homage to Robin, because Robin Williams, because he didn't really have to do that. Will Smith is a great actor in his own right. For Men in Black, all the other stuff that he's done. He's a great actor in his own front. But the fact that, he's even come out and said that he was terrified of being, the genie, trying to pay some homage to Robin Williams, but at the same time kind of have his own flavor into it. I feel like, he tried his best to do the character justice, and that's the only thing you can really ask for, especially under the circumstances that, Robin wasn't able to be the character anymore. Now, one of the things that I thought could have possibly happened is, you could have just used voice clips from the original film as the genie and just have a CGI, genie the whole way through. Now, of course, this would hurt problems in the film for, if you decide to do a human transformation, you would have to have an actual, other person playing the part while the, Robin Williams is voicing it, which might have a lot of problems. But of course, they've done it with Princess Leia. They're going to be doing that in the next Star Wars film, because she unfortunately passed away. But the thing is I didn't even realize this, but apparently when Robin Williams unfortunately passed away, there was something in the contract where they couldn't use any of the unused footage that Robin Williams recorded for 25 years, which means that they couldn't use that for the live-action movie. Now, if they were allowed to use it, I guarantee you they would have used it, and that would have been the Genie. Because they're doing it for Princess Leia in Star Wars. So I guarantee you that's what they would have done. Because based on watching the film, I really feel like, I know that, Disney has been trying to change the actors for a lot of these live-action movies, but they didn't change the voice actor for Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robbins. They're not changing Mufasa's actor, for the live action. And if Robin Williams had been alive, I don't think they would have done it either. I think they would have, Now, of course, Robin Williams could have rejected it, which probably would have hurt anything, unless, of course, Robin Williams got a certain pay. Maybe they would have had him, give him a big chunk of cash for him to be convinced. But, Robin Williams, he has morals, so it might not even have come down to a big payday, to be the Genie. Because we all know Robin Williams is for standards. I mean, he refused to take $100 million payout from Disney after the whole, controversy of, him only being 25% in the original film for the promotion, and Disney not honoring it, and they tried to give him $1 million payout, and Robin Williams wasn't for it. So, it's quite interesting to think in hindsight how they would have approached this film had Robin Williams been casted. But I truly believe, based on the way the film was, and again, we'll never truly know. Now, Disney, of course, is going to always come out and say that it would have been Robin Williams' part had he been alive. They're going to say that, because, it would make logical sense to do that, because it'd be stupid to say that. We wouldn't have. But you never know. You never know if they truly would have or not. They can easily just go around the question because, unfortunately Robin Williams is dead, and just say that, yeah, for sure we would have, had him as the Genie. But it's just kind of an unfortunate situation. And I commend Robin Williams, I commend Will Smith. God, I keep goofing this up. I commend Will Smith for, doing as much as he could with the film. When I was watching it, though, I couldn't not, get away from the fact that Robin Williams wasn't the Genie. Because, like I said, and again, that probably is nostalgia kicking in, but, I'm sure most of you can all agree that, watched that original film, that, that was his part, that was his role. Again, I don't exactly know how it would have been approached had he been the Genie, how they would have handled the Genie character in live action had it been Robin Williams, because I know a lot of people have had issues with the Aladdin movie because of the diversity aspect of it. But again, I just don't see the Genie as a white or black character. I just see the Genie as the Genie, and Robin Williams was the voice of the Genie, and so by default I feel like he should have been the Genie. And I think Will Smith was casted correctly, because Will Smith, they couldn't just cast like anybody to be to take over for Robin Williams' part. They couldn't just get some new actor off the street like they did with like some of these other actors. Aladdin, the Aladdin actor I never even heard of, but I thought he did a pretty good job as Aladdin. You know what I'm saying, like guys like that, and again, they casted those guys correctly, Jasmine and the Aladdin actor. They casted them correctly, but in the case of the Genie, I feel like they needed someone like a Will Smith or someone with that stature that could, really, bring out the character the best they could. And Will Smith was a fan of Robin Williams. There's actually a clip of him, being at one of Robin Williams's award ceremony and clapping for him. So Will Smith was a huge fan of Robin Williams, and that's one of the good things too. Is with Will Smith is he's a big time actor, has his own legacy in his own right, but still appreciated Robin Williams. His performance. You could tell when someone is actually telling the truth and not just bullshitting just to say, oh, this is, the way it is, just saying all the right answers. You can tell that Will Smith, if you've seen his interviews, he's done multiple interviews about it. You can tell that he genuinely was, fearful of this role, and trying to get the role right the best he could. And that's the only thing you can really ask for in a situation like this where you're taking over for an actor that is so synonymous with the character. Because, you got to remember, Robin Williams is a whole generation of people who played, that played this character. He played this character to a T. And so a scenario where he's not the live action Genie is kind of, it kind of sucks. It sucks. But I do commend Will Smith doing his best and also having a couple Easter eggs in there. I was, I could tell when there was a couple of things that he was referencing from Robin Williams' performance as the Genie. But again. It fits with the Genie character because, again, the Genie character was written around Robin Williams. That was how the character was portrayed. The character's personality was a mere copy of what Robin Williams' real-life persona was like. And that's why you have to put that stuff in there. And that's why, if he had not died, he would have been I believe he would have been the Genie. I believe, based on the way the film was approached, I feel like it would have been a Disney. It would have been Disney, getting him to do the Genie. But I don't know how different the film would have been exactly approached. But again, that's just how I look at it. Again, let me know what you guys think about this. Again, it is a kind of a very toxic topic to talk about. It's very hard because, again, Robin Williams, again, one of my favorite actors of all time. A lot of nostalgic there from being a kid. One of the most recognizable voices, one of the recognizable Genie voices, to hear, and that's literally what started making me watch real live action movies was hearing his voice in Flubber. And recognizing him as the Genie. So I had a lot of nostalgia for Robin Williams. But again, I do commend Will Smith's performance, to try his best. He tried his best. And I'm sure he even knew going in that he was probably not going to do as good as Robin Williams. Because, the character was written for him. But I do commend his performance. I commend a lot of those actors because that's a hard one. The Aladdin film is not the Aladdin live action film is not as bad as people are making it out to be. I will say that the film is not as bad as people are saying. It was an okay film. Was it a top 15 film in 2019? No, it is not. It will not be. But was it a good film? Was it a fun film? Yes, it was. And I think the whole New World scene, with the song with Jasmine, they did that very well, right? The Jasmine actor, like I said, I still contend she was the best. She had the best performance out of everyone in the film, including Will. I think she did the best. I think she did the best out of everyone, especially with the singing. She was very on key with it. Well, that's the thing with Will Smith. Will Smith, it's kind of hard to evaluate his performance because, of course, I'm still nostalgic for Robin Williams being the Genie, and so that could be me being a little biased. I will admit, again, I will admit I could be a little biased towards it because again, you know, when I think of the Genie, I think of Robin Williams. I don't think Will Smith. But you know, that's just my take on it. I would like to know what you guys think. If you guys see this, let me know what you guys think. Where do you guys think the character should be approached? You know, in terms of the standards, do you think he would have taken on the role if he had been still alive, or not? Would Disney have offered it to him? I do. I'm convinced after watching the film they would have. But I'd like to know what you guys think about this, and how would you think they would have approached it? Would they have done it the same way as they did it with Will Smith, where they did the human transformation type stuff, or do you think they would have done it more like the way they did it in the cartoon version with Robin Williams, where he doesn't, you know, show his, you know, he doesn't show his skin, he just shows, you know, the blue skin the entire way through? Do you guys think that that's how they would have done it? How do you guys exactly think this would have been approached? I'd like to know what you guys think. Comment, rate. If you like this video, my videos, please subscribe. And that's about it, guys. I am the SS Ultimate Goku, and out of here. Peace!